it's Thursday, and Thursday at Washington Carnegie Public Library means story time. So find a comfy seat, grab a snack, and let's start. Are you ready? If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story and you really want to show it, if you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, find a seat. If you're ready for a story, find a seat. If you're ready for a story and you really want to show it, if you're ready for a story, find a seat. Our poem today is by Robert Louis Stevenson, and it's from a collection of poetry that he wrote called A Child's Garden of Verses. And the poem that we're going to read is called Where Go the Boats? Where go the boats? Dark brown is the river, golden is the sand. It flows along forever, with trees on either hand. Green leaves a-floating, castles of the foam, boats of mine a-boating. Where will all come home? On goes the river, and out past the mill, away down the valley, away down the hill, away down the river, 100 miles or more. Other little children shall bring my boats ashore. See, his boats are traveling down the river. And he's imagining that far, far away, other children will find his boats and bring them ashore. And that's the end of Where Go the Boats by Robert Louis Stevenson. Pelle's New Suit by Elsa Beskow. Pelle's New Suit. There once was a little Swedish boy whose name was Pelle. Now Pelle had a lamb which was all his own and which he took care of all by himself. The lamb grew and Pelle grew, and the lamb's coat grew longer and longer, but Pelle's coat only grew shorter. One day Pelle took a pair of shears and cut off all the lamb's wool. See, he's getting a haircut. Then he took the wool to his grandmother and said, "Granny dear, please card this wool for me." "That I will, my dear," said Granny, "if you will pull the weeds in my carrot patch for me." So Pelle pulled the weeds in Granny's carrot patch, and Granny carded Pelle's wool. See, she has the wool in a basket, and she takes out little pieces and puts it here. The carding tools are like combs, and so the carding it means it's like they're combing the wool and getting rid of all the dirt and the bits and pieces that don't belong there. Then Pelle went to his other grandmother and said, "Grandmother dear, please spin this wool into yarn for me." "That I will gladly do, my dear," said his grandmother, "if while I am spinning, you tend my cows for me." And so Pelle tended grandmother's cows. There he is. And grandmother spun Pelle's yarn. So all that carded wool is going into the spinning wheel, and it goes round and round and round, and she pulls on it and it becomes string, and she winds it round the spindle. She's making yarn. Then Pelle went to a neighbor who was a painter and asked him for some color with which to dye his yarn. "What a silly little boy you are," laughed the painter. "But my paint is not what you want to color your wool. But if you will row over to the store to get a bottle of turpentine for me, you may buy yourself some dye out of the change from the money." So Pelle rolled over to the store and bought a bottle of turpentine for the painter, and bought for himself a large sack of blue dye out of the change from the money. Then he dyed the wool himself until it was blue all through. And then Pelle went to his mother and said, "Mother dear, please weave this yarn into cloth for me." "That I will gladly do," said his mother, "if you will take care of your little sister for me." So Pelle took good care of his little sister, and Mother wove the wool into cloth. See her loom? She's weaving all that yarn into cloth. Then Pelle went to the tailor. "Dear Mr. Tailor, please make a suit for me out of this cloth." "Is that what you want, you little rascal?" said the tailor. "Indeed I will, if you will rake my hay and bring in my wood and feed my pigs for me." So Pelle raked the tailor's hay and fed his pigs. And then he carried in all the wood, and the tailor had Pelle's suit ready that very Saturday evening. And on Sunday morning, Pelle put on his new suit and went to his lamb and said, "Thank you very much for my new suit, little lamb." "Bah," said the lamb, and it sounded almost as if the lamb were laughing. And that is how Pelle got his new suit. And that's the end of the story. Thank you for joining us today for story time. I hope you enjoyed the stories and the poem. I love reading to you, and I hope you can join us next week. Bye-bye.